If your running starts with you using the bathroom one more time, choosing dark leggings just in case, and planning a route around every public restroom, you're responding to a symptom that has started making decisions for you. Leaking when you run postpartum does not automatically mean running is the enemy. It also doesn't mean you should ignore the symptom and hope it disappears. Leaking is information. The useful question now is, what information is it giving us? And what should we assess next? Hi, I'm Veeda, a pelvic floor physical therapist, birth doula, and pregnancy and postpartum coach. I combine my knowledge in these unique fields to support women from pregnancy through birth, postpartum, and beyond. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what running asks of the body, 5 observations that make the symptom patterns more useful, why doing more Kegels is not a complete return to running plan, and what a pelvic floor physical therapy assessment may actually look like. Running is not simply just walking faster. It adds repeated impact, single leg loading, coordination, strength, endurance, and the need to manage pressure over time. Your pelvic floor participates in that job, but it doesn't work in isolation. Breathing, trunk and hip function, lower body strength, balance, workload, fatigue, recovery, and your own individual health and birth history can all be relevant context in your running. That is why a leak cannot tell us the full cause by itself. The goal is not to prove that you can tolerate symptoms. The goal is to understand when they happen, what changes them, and what capacity may need to be rebuilt. When does the leaking begin? Is it immediate? Is it later in the run? Is it on hills? Is it during speed work? Or is it mainly when you're fatigued? Timing does not diagnose the cause. It gives us a clearer pattern to explore. Someone who leaks on mile 1 has a completely different mechanism or cause for the leak compared to someone who is leaking at mile 6. What else is present during the run? Notice, are you experiencing urgency, pelvic pressure, heaviness, pain, abdominal symptoms, or even difficulty recovering after your run? What changes the symptoms? Taking a look at changing your pace, changing your distance, the terrain you ran on, your recovery time, your breathing pattern, your bladder habits, and maybe even your menstrual cycle. Taking a look at what demands have you actually prepared for. Things like strengthening, coordination, endurance, and not just doing isolated pelvic floor contractions. How is the rest of your training structured? Looking at your strength work, looking at impact exposure, total workload, your sleep, and recovery all help complete the picture. Then zoom out and ask whether the symptoms are stable, improving, or worsening over time. Pelvic floor muscle training can be useful for urinary incontinence, but just do more Kegels is still incomplete advice for a runner. First off, not everyone needs the same exercises, dosage, cue, or starting point. Secondly, running is a full body, repeated impact task. A useful plan may need to connect pelvic floor function with breathing, strength, coordination, impact exposure, and the way training load progresses. And third, symptoms can have more than one contributing factor. A generic exercise cannot interpret your history, your symptom pattern, or your running goals. Kegels can be a tool. They are not the entire toolbox. This is where an internet video cannot make the decision for every runner. A symptom during a run does not automatically create one universal answer. The next steps may be to adjust variables such as pace, distance, terrain, recovery, or impact exposure while capacity is still being rebuilt. For someone else, the appropriate next steps may be to pause a specific activity and get evaluated first. Persistent, worsening, severe, or concerning symptoms deserve individualized attention. Seek prompt medical care for urgent symptoms or anything that feels medically concerning. The point is not to collect enough tips to overrule your body. It is to stop treating the symptoms like a verdict and start treating it like information that deserves context. A returning to run assessment should look at more than whether you can squeeze your pelvic floor. At Fit to Push, an evaluation may begin with your birth, health, symptom, and training history, including when symptoms begin and what seems to change them. We may discuss your current running volume, pace, terrain, progression, recovery demands, your running schedule, and the real life workload of motherhood. A physical assessment may consider breathing and pressure, strength, mobility, balance, coordination, and impact tolerance. Running related movement may be assessed when it's clinically appropriate. We also look beyond the leaking. Other pelvic floor, abdominal, hip, back, or pelvic symptoms can matter to the full picture. A pelvic floor assessment includes an internal examination when clinically appropriate. It's optional and completed only with informed consent. Not every person needs every component of the assessment. Part of good care is also recognizing when another healthcare professional should be involved. The value is not a generic list of exercises. It's expert interpretation and a progressive plan connected to your body, your goals, and your current capacity. Leaking does not mean you failed postpartum recovery, and it doesn't mean you have to accept bathroom strategies as part of every run. Start by noticing the pattern, then get the right support to interpret the pattern. If leaking, heaviness, or pain is deciding how you run, book a private connection call to discuss whether individualized pelvic floor physical therapy is the right next step for you. Fit to Push provides concierge pelvic floor physical therapy in Mercer County and surrounding central New Jersey communities. The booking link is in the description below.